Let's end your frustration by signing up for fiber internet in Clinton. Click the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com.
From the Heart Media Group newsroom and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this expanded morning newscast. Good morning, and thanks for being with us. I'm your host today, Ben Hubbard. The news is brought to you by Bob Chevy Buick in Clinton, your Silverado headquarters, as well as Connexus, offering fiber internet in Clinton. Click their icon on DeWittDailyNews.com to find out more. The DeWitt County Board Thursday night approved a text amendment to the county code regarding data centers to reflect its impact on energy generation facilities. Buck Carter chairs the County Land Use Committee on Thursday night and proposed a text amendment to reflect the consumption of energy of data centers and its impact on the local grid.
Approved resolution affirming that data centers are not an allowable use under the existing DeWitt County zoning code, and that a text amendment will be required prior to any special use permit or building permit being processed. Now I make a motion to amend the, I think it's the 5th paragraph, where it talks about it says, whereas there are public concerns regarding electricity consumption by data centers and the effect any consumption may have on, I'd like to strike the rest of that sentence and add electric generation facilities, the electric grid and the end users of electric energy, striking out nuclear power plant known as the Clinton Clean Energy Center. Bring to note there are 4 generation plants in DeWitt County, not just one. We need to address that.
Board Chair Joe Whitty reminded the board that this was not the moratorium discussed at the land use meeting last week. Carter calls this a shift of power back to the zoning administrator to allow her to do her job.
It's what I would call out. This is different than what was discussed in land use. So for those who were at land use or heard anything on the radio, this is not a moratorium. It's just stating what our county code currently allows, affirming that it's not an allowed use today. So a moratorium is determined to be unnecessary, really.
I think the most important thing is giving the full board backing to the zoning administrator so she'd be able to perform her obligations should the occasion arise.
It also lets the public know that we're aware of this issue. People are talking about this, data centers and what's it going to mean. So the fact that we're discussing it here, we're not sleepwalking into some bad situation. We're stating what the current case is and how we move forward.
The amendment passed with a unanimous vote on Thursday. Check out the WHOW Facebook and Instagram pages for video highlights of the Thursday meeting and discussions. Coming up shortly on this expanded newscast, funding still available for Community Action's LIHEAP. While a Chicago Bears fan with a desire to see the storied NFL franchise remain in Illinois, a Central Illinois school superintendent has a layered interest in the Bears' ongoing desire for a new stadium. Dr. Michael Tresnick is the superintendent of DeLand Weldon Schools and indicates his rooting interest in the Bears staying in Chicago takes a back seat as he watches the negotiations unfold with the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois.
Of course, there's been a lot of conversations about any deals that would be made to enhance the Bears to stay. And I'm a Bears fan. I remember 1985. I remember Walter Payton, greatest running back ever. Obviously, that's something that's very important to a lot of people. But when I start looking at some of the proposals out there, and granted, you're not quite sure what those proposals are. You hear hints of it, but I know that the proposal right now has something to do with the terminology mega project. And I think they're one definition of mega project was going to be anything over 500 million. But it depends on how you read the legislation. You know, that could change, so on and so forth. And to me, it almost looked like a form of a TIF, tax increment financing, that they were doing. And they were going to say, if you have a mega project, you would then go back to what the fixed price of that property was prior to the project coming in, and then you would freeze that for 20 years is what I was seeing. I could be completely wrong, and anyone could correct me on that. But then would freeze that property value for all that, for that 20 years. Well, what that does to the taxing bodies is you lose your ability to tax at that new property value.
For Dr. Tresnick, the proposal's terminology of mega project could eventually lead to downstate projects like wind farms, data centers, or manufacturing centers that locate to central Illinois, seeking that designation, thus stymieing tax rates for schools to tap into.
You and I, if I go and do improvements to my property, I'm going to pay taxes on that eventually. And a company decides to expand their warehouse, they're going to pay taxes. Their property value is going to go up. They're going to pay taxes on that. My concern is, what is going to be the definition of the mega project? And 500 million sounds like a lot of money, but you start looking at some of these projects out there, that's not as much as you think. Let's take, for instance, the wind farms that are coming in. If you consider that as one project that goes in, is that in excess of 500 million? Right now, like for DeLand Weldon, we just had the wind farms come in, and starting this summer, we're going to reap the benefits of that, because we're going to see that come into our property tax and the levy that we put out. We'll start seeing that money this summer. And based on that, we're able to do some things. But in the future, could we lose the ability to tax that?
It is Dr. Tresnick's concern that while for the time being this proposal would only impact the Chicagoland area, it could eventually become law statewide.
And we've tried at DeLand Weldon to be very conscious of what we're doing. So like going into this, in this tax cycle right now, we actually lowered our rates, even though the amount we asked for went up, but that went up because we had the wind farm values coming into our assessments. But we were overall able to lower the rate that is going to be charged. We try to be conscientious of that, but like I said, I'm concerned of what is ultimately going to come out. And everyone says, well, this only affect the Chicago area. I question that. I wonder if what you see sometimes in these legislations, it's pages upon pages upon pages, and there are agreements made to get votes. And is there some paragraph somewhere that no one realized was there, that comes up and then could adversely affect our ability to do things? That really concerns me moving forward.
In addition to watching that, if any agreement comes from the Bear Stadium search, Dr. Tresnick is also keeping tabs on the likely cuts to mandated categoricals from the state in the upcoming budget cycle. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. Let's take a quick break with a word from our sponsors.
March into Baum Chevrolet Buick and march out with a new Chevrolet. This is Scott Baum from Baum Chevrolet Buick in Clinton and Farmer City. We have over 20 Silverados to fit your daily work needs in 1500, 2500, and 3500s in gas or diesel, all sale priced. Also, check out the Colorado pickup. This size and maneuverability may be another option as well. Chevrolet, together, let's drive. Baum Chevrolet Buick, right from the start.
Experience the power of better connection with Connexus Fiber Internet. Connexus delivers ultra-fast, reliable speeds to keep you connected at the speed of life. Whether you're working from home, streaming your favorite shows, or gaming with your friends, Connexus has you covered. Say goodbye to buffering and dropped calls and say hello to fiber fast internet. Ready to upgrade your connection? Sign up today by clicking the Connexus icon at DeWittDailyNews.com. Nothing connects us like Connexus.
News time is 18 minutes after the top of the hour. You're listening to the WHOW Morning Show. The Low Income Home Energy Assistance Program, or LIHEAP, helps those who are at risk of a disconnect or are already disconnected get a break from their energy bills. Anita Russell with Community Action explains that they have already received as many LIHEAP applications as they did last year and expect to surpass that number greatly. Any other year, this would mean an early finish for the LIHEAP program. However, she says this is not any other year.
So we are overspending is how I like to look at it. When I kind of take the historicals from the last few years on how we're doing, and already we've met how many applications we took last year and are projected to do more applications than we've done in the last 7. So because of that, we usually run out of money in May, which is not good for us because the program goes until August 15th to be exact. So this year we have been told that because we are overperforming, that they are going to look to give us a modification in the grant and be able to give us more grant funding to be able to spend so that we can continue to carry on the program until that August 15th deadline. Yeah, so that's when that program year closes and the new program year starts October 1st.
Gotcha.
So it's kind of a double-edged sword is the way you look at it. It's like, it's great we're getting more money, to be able to spend to help customers in our community. But at the same time, you hate to think that that many customers need help with their power bills. You want to help everybody, but then it's like, why are you having to help people? Well, it's because of these energy costs are going up.
Russell says there is currently no wait time, which means it's a perfect opportunity to schedule your appointment. She notes that as the weather starts to warm, Ameren will resume disconnecting customers for missed payments, and their appointments will begin filling up again.
So right now we don't have an appointment wait time. So you can call and, schedule an appointment, and sometimes we can get to you that day or the next day within a day or so. So that is right now in March. I can't say the same for April. Once disconnects start coming out, then it gets a lot busier for us.
Okay.
So take advantage of the different options, either calling or going on our website to schedule an appointment for yourself or through the chat. So we're trying to make it as easy as possible for people. And just for people that are scheduling, so when you put in your email address into, like, you tell us your email address or you fill it in whenever you're scheduling your own appointment, then what happens is we send you a confirmation email so that you know what you need to bring in, which is you need to know social security numbers for everybody in the household. You need your income for everybody in the household for the last 30 days, and then your most recent electric and gas bill.
Okay.
And so there's a link that is secured link directly comes to me, and people can upload their information prior to their appointment or the day of their appointment or anytime they want to me, and then I get it out to the respective intake worker. And so they will give you a call on the day of your appointment. They'll go over all your information with you. You don't have to provide social security cards if you've ever been in before, because we're trying to get away from getting protected information, just because of scams and all this other stuff. We want to really make sure everybody are safe with their information. So a lot of times it's a matter of just providing us with your income, because a lot of times we can also get the energy bills. We, appreciate when people have everything together at the time of their appointment. But if they don't, then, there is 15 days they have to get it back to us. If they don't, then what happens is I deny the application, but we can open it up anytime during the program year when the information is received.
Many applicants will know how much they are getting the same day or soon after their appointment. Some applicants will receive more than a single month's worth of credit, which will go to your provider to be used for future bills.
Once you provide all your information and we're able to process the application, I go through, verify, and approve the application. So a lot of times I know the same day. The great thing about Community Action and LIHEAP right now is we went paperless as much as we possibly can. And the reason why that's important is because I'm able to see these applications in real time. So I run a report. I can see which applications are ready to be checked. I go through, I check the information because everything's uploaded. And then I'm able to tell instantly how much you're going to get in assistance. The unfortunate part is a lot of people would like for us to call them back to tell them how much they're getting, but unfortunately my staff is busy doing other phone appointments, so we're not able to. So what I like to tell people is, if you have Ameren, you can call them the next day and see what you've got on your account.
Okay.
Because Ameren, once we approve it, it'll be on there the next day. It's pretty quick. Now, when it comes to not what we call non-communicating providers, which is your propanes and your little municipal electric companies and stuff, I send them something once a week. But if you email me or come through the live chat wanting to know how much you're getting, I'm more than happy to tell you at any time. The benefit that they are receiving is based on, like I said earlier, their household income and how many's in their household. So somebody can come in with like a $200 Ameren bill, let's say, and they might get like $700 or $800 in assistance. So they're receiving a credit. That goes directly to the energy vendors. We do not send any kind of check to the customer.
Okay.
We like to have that with the energy vendor so that they know that they're getting that money.
Russell and Community Action will be at the upcoming Clinton Business Expo, ready to answer any questions the community may have. Learn more about LIHEAP at capsule.info. It's called a navigation maintenance backlog. It's something Tom Heinold shares with navigation partners in his role with the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, Rock Island District.
The backlog is basically defined as all the things that we know about that it would take to get the locks and dams in the channel back to a new or like new, reliable and efficient condition. We've got billions and billions of dollars worth of infrastructure out there. And our most recent update, just for my district alone, shows that we're in the neighborhood of $3.7 billion worth of work away from achieving a long-term sustainable system. Now that's a lot. That's billion with a B. So our locks and dams are approaching 80, 90 years old, some of them even greater than that. Knocking Dam 15 right here in Rock Island where I work was the very first one commissioned. It turned 92 years old last week. And that infrastructure was all built, most of it in the 30s and 40s, with a 50-year design life. And we've been doing our best to extend that design life, but it's difficult with old infrastructure. Concrete and steel just doesn't last forever. So we like to update that backlog, not because we think we can do $3.7 billion of work in a single year. I mean, there's not enough contractors or materials or time or engineers to design it all in the world. It couldn't possibly happen. But what it does do is it gives us some perspective and a goal to shoot for.
The Rock Island District maintains 314 miles of 9-foot navigation channel on the Mississippi River, including operation of 12 lock and dam sites and 268 miles on the Illinois Waterway with operation of 6 lock and dam sites. What are some of the trends noted for the nation's horticulture industry? Per USDA's latest census of horticultural specialties, Rod Bain reports. Get news anytime from your computer or your mobile device at DeWittDailyNews.com. Network news is now.
With SRN News, I'm Rich Thomason in Washington. A key oil refinery in Kuwait is among the latest targets of Iranian drones. The attack set the refinery on fire. The Saudis report their air defenses shot down incoming drones. President Trump says he thought the price hikes for energy would be even worse before the war began. He adds that the war will be coming to an end soon. Prices at the gas pump this morning up another 3 cents from yesterday. AAA's national average now $3.91 per gallon. Israel's prime minister says the U.S. was not involved in Israel's attack on Iran's South Pars natural gas field. President Trump has asked Israelis not to do it again. And the Pentagon is asking Congress for another $200 billion for Operation Epic Fury. On Wall Street, Dow futures are down 127 points. NASDAQ futures off 130. More details, srnnews.com.
So my friends over at Pure Talk have been sending me customer feedback from consumeraffairs.com, where thousands of people rate and review the top wireless providers. Here, for instance, is a nice note from James in Raleigh, North Carolina, who writes, quote, after hearing Micro's ad, we made the switch to Pure Talk and we couldn't be happier. We went from spending $1,200 a year with T-Mobile to $420 with Pure Talk. Thanks, Mike. Switch today! Exclamation point. Pure Talk is saving James $820 a year. And because he literally wrote the words switch today in capital letters with an exclamation point, I'm going to go ahead and dedicate this commercial to him. So folks, take it from James in Raleigh, North Carolina. Pure Talk can give you unlimited talk, text, and plenty of data for just $25 a month on the same 5G service the big guys are overcharging you for. Just dial pound 250, say Mike Rowe. You'll also save 50% off your first month. That's pound 250 to save an additional 50%. Thanks, James.
From the Hart Media Group Sports Desk, IL Sportswire, and DeWittDailyNews.com, I'm Ben Hubbard with this local sports report. LeRoy used a 3-run fourth inning to slip past Monticello 4-1 in non-conference high school softball action on Thursday. Despite a strong performance in circle from Cassidy Stoffel, the Lady Sages bats were held in check for much of the afternoon. The game remained a defensive battle early on until the Sages cracked the scoreboard in the bottom of the third. Thea Key sparked the rally with a line drive single to center, and Cassidy Stoffel followed suit with an RBI double to deep center field, scoring Key and tying the game at 1-1. However, LeRoy answered immediately in the top of the fourth, plating 3 runs on 4 hits to reclaim a lead they would not relinquish. Sadie Walsh and Key led the Lady Sages, each turning in a 2-for-4 performance at the plate. Stoffel and Isabella Berry accounted for the remaining 2 hits in the contest. Stoffel went the distance in circle, taking the tough luck loss. She allowed 3 earned runs on 8 hits while striking out 7 and walking only 1 over 7 full innings. The Lady Sages fall to 1-1 overall. They return to the home diamond this afternoon to host Arthur Levington Atwood Hammond at 4:30 p.m. Hear all the action today on 95.9 FM WECC and online at DeWittDailyNews.com. Beckett Weber tallied 3 hits and drove in 2 runs, helping Normal Community survive a late push from O'Fallon for a 5-4 victory in the first game of a Thursday season-opening doubleheader in high school boys baseball action in O'Fallon. The Ironmen went ahead in the second inning when Carter Harris hit a 2-run home run to left field, putting Normal Community up 2-0. Later in the frame, Lucas Beatty singled and stole second, setting the stage for a Beckett Weber RBI double to push the lead to 3-0. O'Fallon answered with 3 runs in the third to tie the game, but the Ironmen reclaimed the lead for good in the fourth. Jacob Engel scored on an RBI single from Weber to break the tie, and Drew Stevens followed with a clutch RBI double to left, scoring Weber and extending the lead to 5-3. Weber led the hit parade, finishing with a perfect 3-for-3 performance with 2 RBIs and a run scored. Carter Harris provided the power with his 2-run homer, while Drew Stevens and Max Heineman each recorded a hit. On the mound, Josh Jones earned the win, striking out 3 over 3 innings of work. Landon Corbin provided strong relief, fanning 3 batters and allowing just 1 run in his 3 innings on the hill. Beatty closed the game out with a strikeout to steal the season-opening win. Normal Community exploded for 4 runs in the first inning and relied on a committee of arms to secure a 6-4 victory over O'Fallon, completing a doubleheader sweep on Thursday in O'Fallon. The Ironmen wasted no time in the nightcap, hanging a 4 spot on the board in the top of the first. Nico Salvati led the offensive effort, finishing 1 for 3 with a double and 2 RBIs. Owen Knox also doubled and drove in a run, while Luke Potts, Tice Beckman, and Malachi Kinsey each recorded hits in the balanced 8-hit attack. On the mound, 5 different Ironmen contributed to the win. Jacob Engel started the contest, followed by effective relief appearances from Chase Hendren and Owen Weaver. Kyle Glass earned the win, throwing 2 scoreless frames with a strikeout, and Oliver Veracruz moved from a first base to the mound in the 7th to record the save. Normal Community starts the season at 2-0 overall. They return to action this weekend. A nightmare 7th inning and 7 total errors spoiled a dominant pitching performance as Mount Pulaski fell to the Nokomis Redskins 8-2 in their season opener on Thursday in high school boys baseball action in Mount Pulaski. The Hilltoppers appeared to have the game under control heading into the final frame. Trailing 1-0 in the bottom of the 6th, Chase Roberts ignited the rally with a line drive double to center. After Preston Cohen reached on a hard-hit single to left, Roberts moved to third, setting the stage for Jaden Jackson. Jackson delivered the biggest hit of the young season, a ground ball single to right that chased home both Roberts and Cohen, giving Mount Pulaski a 2-1 lead. However, the lead proved short-lived. In the top of the 7th, the Hilltoppers defense faltered, committing a string of errors that opened the floodgates for a 7-run Nokomis explosion, leading to a Redskins 6-run lead. Chase Roberts led the way offensively, going 2 for 3 with a double and a run scored. Jaden Jackson finished 1 for 3 with 2 RBIs, and Preston Cohen contributed for a 1 for 2 performance with a walk and a run scored. On the mound, Jaden Jackson was spectacular in his season debut. Jackson went 5 strong innings, allowing just 1 unearned run on 2 hits while striking out 7. Aaron Voley was tagged with the loss in relief, and Preston Cohen pitched the final inning. Mount Pulaski falls to 0-1 and will look to bounce back and clean up the defense as they hit the road on Monday to take on St. Joseph Ogden. The Morton Potters used a 7-run second inning to build an early cushion and held off a late rally from Normal West for a 10-5 win in non-conference high school baseball action Thursday in Morton. They broke the game open in the second with 7 runs. Sam McCulley delivered a 2-run double to center field, driving in Mason Asslinger and Ty Backman to make it 10-4. McCulley led the Wildcat offense, finishing 1 for 3 with 3 RBIs and a double. Charlie Hanks was a bright spot at the top of the order, going 2 for 4 with a triple and 2 runs scored. Jack Stadinger and Drake Rumps each added hits for West. Normal West falls to 0-2 on the season. The Wildcats will head into spring break action Monday against Chilton County in Alabama. David Mirkovic had 29 points and 17 rebounds, and the number 3 seed Illinois Fighting Illini dominated number 14 seed Penn 105-70 on Thursday night in the first round of the NCAA tournament. Keaton Wagler added 18 points, 7 assists, and 7 rebounds for the Fighting Illini, who improved to 25-8 and moved to face number 11 VCU in the second round on Saturday. Kylan Boswell had 13 points, while Ben Hummerkaus and Tomislav Ivicic chipped in with 12, as Illinois shot 50% from the field, making 15 three-pointers, and out-rebounded the much smaller Quakers 48-25. Michael Zanoni finished with 20 points on 9 of 18 shooting for Penn, who finishes the season at 18-12, and they are the Ivy League champions. Mirkovic set the tone for Illinois with a huge first half as his 17 points and 10 rebounds helped the Fighting Illini build a 40-30 lead at the break. Illinois continued to grab rebound after rebound and stretched the lead to 23 with 10 minutes remaining after Mirkovic came up with a steal and fed Zvonimir Ivasic for a transition alley-oop dunk. Mirkovic's 17 rebounds were a school tournament record. Illinois beat VCU 62-46 in the only meeting between the schools in 2016. James Harden scored 36. Evan Mobley added 26 points and 14 rebounds, and Cleveland hung on to beat the Chicago Bulls 115-110 on Thursday night. Harden nailed 7 3-pointers. Jalen Tyson chipped in with 18 points and 11 rebounds. And the Cavaliers hung on after a 29-point lead in the third quarter dwindled to 1 in the game's closing minutes. Chicago's Trey Jones cut it to 103-102 when he made 2 free throws with 3 minutes and 33 seconds remaining. Sam Merrill answered with a 3 for Cleveland. The Cavaliers were up 110-107 when Jones missed a potential tying 3 and Leonard Miller missed a layup with about a minute left. Harden hit a pull-up jumper to make it a 5-point game with 33 seconds left, and Cleveland hung on for the win. Jones scored 20 for Chicago, which lost for the 4th time in 5 games. Rob Dillingham added a season-high 17 points. Nick Richards finished with 16 points and 8 rebounds. The Cavaliers visit New Orleans on Saturday, while the Bulls host Houston on Monday. Connor Bedard scored a goal, and defenseman Alex Vlasic made a game-saving stop as time ran out on Thursday night as the Chicago Blackhawks beat the Minnesota Wild 2-1 to snap the NHL's longest active point streak for one team against another. Ilya Mikheyev also scored, and Spencer Knight made 28 saves for the Blackhawks, who were 0-18-1 in their last 19 games against Minnesota. Chicago's last victory over the Wild was on December 15th, 2019. Nico Sturm scored for the Wild, and Jesper Wallstedt stopped 24 of 26 shots that he faced. With Wallstedt pulled for an extra attacker, the Wild nearly tied it in the final seconds. Knight got a piece of Quinn Hughes' shot, but the puck trickled behind him in the crease before a Minnesota player could get to it. The 6'6" Vlasic swept his stick into the crease and tucked the puck beneath his goalie. Chicago took a 1-0 lead late in the first when Andrew Magnapane found Mikheyev for the goal mouth for an easy tap-in. Bedard doubled the lead midway through the second when he intercepted a pass at the Wild blue line, skated in alone, and beat Wallstedt with a backhander. Sturm got the Wild on the board with a wrist shot that beat Knight between the skates with 4 minutes and 13 seconds to play in the second. Minnesota was unable to score during a 5-on-3 power play early in the third as Matt Boldy and Vladimir Tarasenko each hit the left post behind Knight. The Blackhawks host Colorado tonight on Friday, while the Wild host Dallas on Saturday. In NCAA men's basketball March Madness tournament action from yesterday, the 9th-seeded TCU beat 8th-seed Ohio State 66-6. They got their first tournament win in school history, beating the 13th-seed Troy 76-47. 6th-seed Louisville beat 11th-seed South Florida 83-79, while 12th-seed High Point upset 5th-seed Wisconsin 83-82. Top-seeded Duke had a little trouble with 16th-seed Siena, but ended up winning 71-65, while 5th-seed Vanderbilt beat 12th-seed McNeese 78-68. Number 4 Arkansas beat 13th-seeded Hawaii 97-78, while 3rd-seeded Michigan State routed 14th-seed North Dakota State 92-67. 11th-seeded VCU upset 6th-seed UNC in overtime 82-78, while 1-seeded Michigan beat 16th-seed Howard 101-80. 10th-seed Texas A&M beat 7th-seed St. Mary's 63-50, while 11 seed Texas upset 6 seed BYU 79-71. 9th seed St. Louis beat 8th seed Georgia 102-77, while 2-seeded Houston took down 15 seed Idaho 78-47, and 3-seed Gonzaga beat 14th seed Kennesaw State 73-64. In NBA action from last night, the Detroit Pistons beat the Washington Wizards 117-95, while the Charlotte Hornets took down the Orlando Magic 130-111. The New Orleans Pelicans beat the LA Clippers 105-99, and the LA Lakers beat the Miami Heat 134-126. The San Antonio Spurs squeaked out the Phoenix Suns 101-100, while the Utah Jazz routed the Milwaukee Bucks 128-96, and the Philadelphia 76ers beat the Sacramento Kings 139-118. In the NHL last night, the Detroit Red Wings beat the Montreal Canadiens 3-1, while the Ottawa Senators took down the New York Islanders 3-2. The Columbus Blue Jackets beat the New York Rangers 6-3, while the Boston Bruins routed the Winnipeg Jets 6-1. The Nashville Predators beat the Seattle Kraken 3-1, while the Florida Panthers shut out the Edmonton Oilers 4-0. The Buffalo Sabres shut out the San Jose Sharks 5-0, while the Tampa Bay Lightning beat the Vancouver Canucks 6-2. The Utah Mammoth shut out the Las Vegas Golden Knights